Meghan Markle. You know Meghan Markle, she was the Duchess of Sussex, Princess Meghan, sort of. She married Prince Harry. I've long had a conspiracy theory that Meghan Markle is a biological weapon constructed in America to get back at the British crown for the War of 1812. We built her here. We assembled her perfectly to just go over to England and completely destroy the royal family and the monarchy. She's doing a pretty good job at it. Well, Meghan Markle and her husband, Prince Harry, they've come over here to America. It's a little bit like a boomerang, unfortunately. The weapon has come back on us. And reportedly, Meghan Markle has said she never wants to set foot in England again, which is a little awkward because her father-in-law is the King of England. The only reason I care about this story is not because I do sort of like the royals. I'm a little bit Anglophilic, but they can sort out their own politics. The reason that I care about this story is what it tells you about marriage. The state of modern marriage, not just among aristocrats and nobility and royalty overseas, but among everyone right here, which is, did she not think of this issue before she married the prince? Did she not consider whether or not she wanted to ever step foot in England before she married the second most notable prince of England? You would think that's the sort of thing you would consider. Did she not recognize that when she married a member of the royal family, a senior member of the royal family, that she might have some duties and responsibilities that go along with that? And then the moment that she encountered those responsibilities, she said, oh no, I want to go play pretend. I don't want to actually be a princess. I just want to go play a princess in Disney movies. I don't want to be the real thing. I just want to play pretend and then go off to my Malibu mansion, Montecito mansion, and I don't know, sip Chablis and not have any responsibilities. You don't have to agree on everything before you head into a marriage with somebody, but you do have to agree on what a marriage is. So I get asked for marriage advice all the time from young people because marriage is unusual these days, because people are delaying getting married, because our stupid culture tells people, don't get married, put your career first, put yourself first, don't think about another person, don't have children. For goodness sakes, children are a sexually transmitted disease. You need to use contraception. You need to have abortions. You need to put that off and freeze your eggs and maybe have a kid when you're 50. And this is not conducive to people's happiness. And so there's a crisis of marriage because the Supreme Court redefined what marriage is in an absurd way. So we can't even answer that question. But that is the fundamental question of political society. What are we all doing together? What are we aiming at? What do we think is good? What are we pursuing here together? And at what level? There's the national level of government. There's the state level of government. There's the community level of government. And then there's the basic political unit, which is the family, which is a marriage. And when you get married, I don't think you need to have some clinical job interview kind of procedure. I don't think you need to sit across from your prospective wife and have a 10 bullet point checklist and say, okay, well, you check off 7 of the 10, so I guess that's a passing grade. You can only get a C, but, okay, close enough. Maybe we'll get married. No, that's not the most romantic thing I ever heard. You don't need to agree on every single thing, at least not when you first get married, because, by the way, over the course of marriage, you will grow together, or you can grow apart. But if you have a real, proper, functioning marriage and you're spending time together and you're deferring to one another in their respective realms, and you throw feminism out the window, then you're going to grow together, most likely. That's the question you have to answer. Not what are we going to have for dinner, not whose house are we going to go to for Christmas, not even what school are we going to send the kids to. You have to ask, what is marriage? That should be the next Daily Wire documentary. We had the smash hit, What is a Woman? Now we need something just as basic, which is, what is marriage? And today, most people don't know. For Meghan Markle, marriage means live out a fantasy from a Disney movie. Have a little arm candy prince to accompany your handbag and your high heels. Prince Harry probably had a different understanding of marriage. The more traditional people have a different understanding of marriage than that. And it creates a big, big problem if you guys don't agree on that when you are going in. Right now, go to preborn.com/Knowles. Finally, some good news. Because of you, our friends over at Preborn have rescued over 44,000 babies this year alone. Right now, thousands of mothers are awaiting the birth of their precious babies, and thousands upon thousands of babies are taking their first breath. Since the beginning, Preborn's network of clinics has rescued over 280,000 babies. That is a miracle. And for just $28, you can empower a mother to choose life by sponsoring her ultrasound. Once she sees the precious life that she is growing and hears her baby's heartbeat, she is twice as likely to choose life. Right now, through a match, your gift is doubled. Your generous gift will go 100% toward life. It is such an effective way to donate, to help save a life. Preborn fundraises separately for administrative costs, so every dollar you give is going to go towards saving babies. Have your donation doubled today by dialing pound 250, saying keyword baby. That is pound 250, keyword baby, or donate securely at preborn.com/Knowles, Knowles. That is preborn.com/Knowles. Greta wants to crush the Jews. Here is Greta Thunberg in Stockholm, shaking up her usual climate activism, doing a rain dance and screaming at the sun monster, to do some other kind of dance and scream at the Hebraic people. So I can't quite make out Swedish either, but apparently the chant there is Krossa Sionismen, which means Sionismen, which means crush Zionism. This was at a pro-Palestine rally, which leads me back to one of the only points I've made as this war broke out, because there are high passions about this war in the Middle East. Some people have a strong connection to Israel. Some people have family members in Israel, for instance. Some people have spent a lot of time there. Some people believe in the theological premises of Zionism. This includes Jews. This even includes certain evangelical Christians. Some people, on the flip side, have strong affinities for the Palestine liberation cause, mostly on the left, but a little bit on the right. And I'm not all that interested in those nuances of the conflict. I want to protect innocent people. I want to avoid World War III, but that's about where my interest ends. In that, there are a lot of conflicts all around the world. I have an interest in the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan. We have an interest in the Ukraine-Russia conflict, also because we don't want to go into World War III, but there are a lot of different conflicts. How does one make any sense of the Israel-Palestine conflict, which has gone on for a long time, in its present form for 100 years, and in some form or other for centuries and millennia even? And the answer is, my little rule of thumb is, if Greta Thunberg is on one side of an issue, I'm probably on the other side. Just as a rule of thumb, okay? If Greta Thunberg hates something, then that's probably a pretty good recommendation of it. One of the arguments I've heard from people trying to take a more pro-Palestine side here is not the Greta Thunbergs, not the Ilhan Omars, not the Rashida Tlaibs, but sane, normal people, is they say, well, I just don't agree with the way in which the Israeli state was established, because the Israeli state, the modern Israeli state, was established as a consequence of the Balfour Declaration in 1917, which is a way for the British Empire to curry favor and win some support from Jews around the world, and to support the political project of Zionism, which had predated it by some decades. And then after World War II, because of the atrocities that happened to the Jews as a result of Nazi Germany, then there was even more political impetus for the official founding of a state of Israel in 1948, and it received a UN charter. And, but as a result of that, it displaced a lot of people and it created a new entity on the map, and no one had any right to do that. And that's just a kind of imperialism. And I've heard all of the arguments. I totally agree. I totally agree that it's a complicated issue. Sorry, I don't agree with all of the arguments that people make, but I certainly agree it's a complicated issue. But what are you going to do now? Even if you think that the establishment of the modern state of Israel was questionable, it was established. What are you going to do? What on earth are you supposed to do? What is Greta Thunberg's answer here? What is Rashida Tlaib's answer? What is Ilhan Omar's answer? Seems to me pretty clear. The answer is just wipe the place off the map, and then things are not going to work out very well for the present occupants. But they don't really have any answers. Just like the libs on other issues don't really have any answers. They just want to tear things down. They just want to scream and yell. And even they apply this to America. They say we need to give the Black Hills of South Dakota back to the Lakota Sioux. That's your answer? We're going to give away an area of the United States that has 4 U.S. presidents' faces carved into it, Mount Rushmore. We're going to give away an area of the United States that has 250,000 Americans living on it. To who? To the Lakota Sioux? We've had the land longer than the Lakota Sioux have. And by the way, the Lakota Sioux stole the land from the Cheyenne. Why don't we give it to the Cheyenne? Who did the Cheyenne take it from? I discussed this topic in a speech a couple nights ago at Vanderbilt, which you can get on the YAF YouTube channel. So I don't just want to own the libs here. I don't just want to have a nice, pithy zinger. My question is, what are you supposed to do? What's your answer? These people don't have any answer. They just whine and scream and pretend to be so much more virtuous than the rest of us. That was a great clip, huh? Now, hey, you got to ring that bell. Subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel. See you next time.